With the indie game market ever expanding, gamers now anticipate the wonderful creation presented to us by their independent developers. Oftentimes, these games breathe fresh air to gamers as they can be nostalgic, unique, and fun. Most importantly, they're not afraid of dabbling into new or strange concepts. With that said, there are tons of indie games coming out this year, but here are top 10 picks. Starting off with Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars is an old-school turn-based RPG with gameplay design similar to Breath of Fire and Chrono Trigger, but with its very own twist. The story takes place before Sabotage Studios' The Messenger, following two children of the solstice with the power of the sun and moon, and their journey to destroy the evil Flashmancer. It's already blowing us away with its amazing visuals and music. If you'd like to give it a try, a demo of this game is currently available on the Nintendo eShop. Next up, indie studio Wishfully makes their debut with Planet Lana. You play as a young girl named Lana who's on a mission to save her sister from an army of machines, with her loyal companion, Mui. Along the way, you'll be seeing gorgeous landscapes and solving puzzling encounters. We're also curious to see how they'll pull off an epic sci-fi saga that isn't about war, despite taking place inside of one. Lies of P is a steampunk Souls-like game where you play as a mechanoid named Pinocchio. You find yourself in Krat, a gothic city inhabited by mechanized monsters, and your mission is to find Mr. Geppetto. Not your standard Pinocchio stuff, but all this endeavor is to, you guessed it, turn yourself into a human. Now, the game is undeniably inspired by Bloodborne, but that's a good thing. It only means Souls fans will have something to pass the time before the next Elden Ring expansion drops. Hollow Knight Silk Song. This sequel follows Hornet, a character from the 2017's award-winning action-adventure Hollow Knight, who now leads in her own tale. As Hornet, you journey the land of Farloom where you'll face various threats and ultimately make your way to the top of the kingdom. If you enjoyed the first game, you'll love the fast-paced combat and creative platforming in this one. Bonus fun fact, this game initially started as a DLC project for the first Hollow Knight, but eventually ballooned into an entire game of its own. But hey, we're not complaining. Darkest Dungeon 2 is a turn-based roguelike that one-ups the first installment in many ways, with new mechanics and some exciting decision-based systems. You'll be on a road trip in the Land of the Damned, along with your companions, and this, guys, you'll learn more about as the story progresses. This ties in with the affinity system that allows your companions to forge bonds or hate each other, which can either lead to better combat synergies or a dysfunctional team. The introduction of the controllable stagecoach also forces you to make a choice that will shape your journeys ahead, maximizing replayability.
When you are ready, this rutted roadway will finally take you home.
The Last Case of Benedict Fox. Lovecraft fans, you like this one. In this game, you play a self-proclaimed detective bound to a demonic companion, who is trying to solve the latest case involving a massive shambling mansion and the disappearance of a couple's child. Along the way, you'll be fighting demons and clearing puzzles to get through the story. The world in this game is riddled with forbidden rituals, crimes, and secret organizations, all in a Tim Burton-esque art style. And I, for one, can't wait to experience those vivid visuals in Ultra HD 4K. But that's just me.
Pull yourself together, Benedict.
Ever played What Remains of Edith Finch or Life is Strange? Well, Open Roads is a narrative adventure game of the same vein, in which you follow Tess Devine and her mother Opal, who have uncovered old notes and letters in their attic, leading them to a larger mystery connected to murky family secrets and a lost treasure near the Canadian border. And if you enjoyed the two games we mentioned earlier, we have no doubt you'll enjoy this one. Even the concept of 2D 3D hybrid itself is enough to have us invested. The Plucky Squire. What can we say about this game? It looks as if the Adventures of Tintin and Link's Awakening had a baby, and we're all in for it. In this game, you're playing Jot, a cartoonish figure who can leap in and out of the illustrated world and the real one. Not much has been revealed about the game, but this is probably one of the more inventive concepts we'll see this year, and we can't wait for the devs to share more details. And while we're on the topic of fascinating concepts, Replace takes its own approach in setting up a 2.5D pixel artsy sci-fi dystopian world. In the city of, Phoenix City, a catastrophic nuclear event has turned everything upside down, and the outlaws have gone rogue. As an artificial intelligence trapped in a human body, your job is to fight through the corruption and stop the source of the organ and human trafficking. Seriously, this is the most cinematic pixel art game that we've ever seen. And accompanying that are platforming and free-flow combat to immerse players in its cyberpunk rendition of 1980s America. Unfortunately, we can't fit every single upcoming indie project into this list. So before we proceed to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Arc Raiders, a retro sci-fi co-op shooter where your job is to blast down robots from space. Vertigo 2, a single-player VR adventure taking place in a quantum reactor, where you'll meet alien faces both friendly and unfriendly. Stick It to the Stick Man. This is one of those satisfying beat-em-ups, but here, you'll be punching and shooting your way up the corporate ladder.
Do you thrive in a fast-paced marketplace of crunch culture, kick-flip, non-lateral skill sets with a growth-experienced mindset?
Passepartout 2. Here, you'll follow a struggling artist as he creates masterpieces to reclaim his lost career. It's definitely a drastically more fleshed-out game than the first installment. Convergence, a League of Legends story. If you're into the lore-rich universe of League, you'll definitely appreciate this 2D adventure where you play as Echo and learn of his backstory. Okay, back to the countdown. Finally, we have Hades 2, the sequel to Supergiant Games' hit Greek mythology-infused dungeon crawler. But this time, the story follows Melanoi, the daughter of Hades, and her quest to defeat the Titan Cronus and free her father from imprisonment. If it's anything like the first game, we can definitely expect the return of satisfying progression and hard-hitting combat to keep us glued to our seats. Now, we know this game isn't planned for launch until 2024, but we're just too excited for this one to not include it here.
Wait for me, Father. I'll be there soon.
And that's our picks. What are your most anticipated indie games of 2023? Did you see any of them on our list? Share with us in the comments. Until next time, signing off.